So in our last video that we did together, we got a few questions from a brother that watched the video and asked questions about some things that we said in there that we didn't necessarily lay out for you guys. And so one of the questions, if you haven't watched the other video, go watch it. But one of the questions was, give us some examples of the code word. And our code word is, I'm being brave here. And that's an ultimate sacred thing that we hold sacred, that if she says it to me, I know I have to put on my soft gloves and say, okay, what she says may end up hurting me. It may feel like an attack on me. But with that code word, we know that it's not an attack. We know that it's not something that they're trying to hurt you with. And so I think I'll just go first. I think one of the times that I said it, and I was a little bit surprised that she actually did hold it sacred. About 3 or 4 years ago, we were in a weird portion of our life and making some changes or possible changes. And there was a time that I said, I'm being brave here. And I was angry right before this. I was, I didn't yell at her or anything, but I was angry right before this about things that were happening and that I felt we needed to change. She didn't feel that we needed to change. And I said, I'm being brave here. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We were sitting in the car outside of the chapel at work. And I said, I'm being brave here. And I said the thing. And, basically any time that there's something that could be dangerous, and it was, I think you're wrong. And that was generally the premise. Obviously there's some private things that we're going to hold private, but I think you're wrong was essentially what I said after I said, I'm being brave here. And I thought she was going to snap back. That's my trauma echoes and things like that. But the fact that she just kept quiet and thought about it, because she knew she was holding that sacred, even in our trouble, even in our, the disagreement and whatever it was, is she held that sacred. And she didn't give me an answer. She didn't answer back. I remember that. She didn't even answer back. And I thought, okay, that's safe. Mm-hmm. Because she's holding that sacred. She's not going to respond because she's emotionally damaged or upset or something. And so for her to not respond was absolutely huge. That was huge for me, because I thought for sure this is going to cause a big fight. We don't fight. We just don't fight. It's not worth it.
But we used to.
We used to, absolutely. But those trauma echoes that come through and say, this is going to cause a fight. And then that sacred word, that sacred code word being held sacred, eliminated that fight. It could have been a big fight.
It steered us away from it, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so then I had some more trust in her even after that. And we still went through a lot of stuff that year. A lot of hard stuff. But I had more trust in her just because of that, holding that code word sacred. Mm-hmm. Do you have any examples you can think of?
Well, just thinking of parenting. We were talking about parenting being a danger zone just because of the chaos from our previous life of addiction and drugs and domestic violence and all that. And Daniel and I do not have any children together. He has 2, 3, because of a stepdaughter, 3 children from his first marriage, and then I have 2 from my past 2 marriages. So we come together, like we talked about yesterday, with this huge amount of baggage. Mm-hmm. And the chaos that existed then, when we got to this side of things, I was so scared of parenting because of where it used to take us. And when we came up with that phrase, and like you said, each time we honored it, it caused us to trust each other more. Mm-hmm. Still had to be brave because of that real experience, memory and feelings and everything, trauma echo, and concern for the present and unknown future. Mm-hmm. We wanted to make sure that we were holding that sacred. And parenting was so dangerous before for both of us, both ways. and to be able to say I'm being brave here when I would think that he was doing something too much or not enough in parenting. One of the things was when we changed from our kids not having any kind of technology to having technology, there was conversation about that. I was a hard absolute no, never, ever, ever, ever. And it was just because I wanted to protect the kids from the world. But Daniel, being brave, pushed into that, leaned into that, because I was holding fast to no, like absolutely not. And I mean, we know the world we live in; it's a dangerous place. But Daniel used that code phrase, and I allowed him and myself to think about it, and I allowed myself to be wrong. And I think that's something that is part of that. And it's not like you win, I win kind of thing. It's if I'm wrong with something and we need to get right with something so that we're united, I want that more than I want to be right. And I think that's a huge part of that code phrase, pact is the whole point of it is to be united in the end of it and then move forward with that. So he gave a great, I don't know how you say it, description of reasons why we should let the kids have technology, because they could go out of our house with no technology ever and have no experience, have no guidance, have no support, have no way of knowing how to navigate it. But we have this opportunity in our home to help them learn, to be a safe place for them to make mistakes and guide them and direct them. And so I had to change my mind. Like, I did not want to do it, but I changed my mind and I chose to trust Daniel in his direction because he said, I'll do it. I will train, I will train them. I will take care of them. I will guard them. And I just decided to let him. And there was no negativity about it.
There's been struggles too with that. Just thinking of that technology. Like, there's been, obviously, when the world says do whatever you want and whatever brings you pleasure.
Right.
And then we have technology in there. And so we've had great victories with our boys, though, especially as like safeguards and getting in trouble, if we're doing things on phones or sending messages or pictures or whatever the thing is. And so we've had a lot of struggle with that, but it's our job as their parents.
Right.
It's my job as their dad is to teach them how to live in a world of filth, like in it, not of it,
right,
as a Christian,
right,
and say, I don't have to partake in this, even though it is part of our daily lives. I mean,
and build healthy habits here
while they can,
right, and then when they leave, be better for it. And my want to protect them just completely is out of love, but it would cause them more harm in the long run. And I had to become willing to allow that to be true. And trust that Daniel, and then of course I came in alongside him and we did it together, and we've done it together. But it was a very challenging thing for me to say, okay, they can have phones and they can play video games. And then, like we mentioned yesterday, when we allow each other to make mistakes, we have to do the same with our boys, and that's been something that code has been so helpful with, because where I just completely avoid parenting or be the one that would want you to step away and let me do it. That phrase allows us to do it together, which we're united, much stronger, better, safer for ourselves and our children too when we're united. And we're demonstrating that for them too, the willingness to be wrong, the willingness to not lord that over the other one, and then that moving forward in a united fashion is really challenging. It's it's a pride thing, ego thing, but our desire to be united is much bigger than being the one who's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope that gave you a few examples of areas where we've had some hard fast. I've got to keep this sacred.
Mhm.
And if you decide to have a code phrase with your spouse, I encourage you and them to make that pact of this is absolutely sacred.
For the sake of unity.
For the sake of unity, for the sake of happiness in our home. In some of my other videos that I did myself, like I want to come home. I love coming home.
Yeah.
Because I'm united with her. We are united. She loves me coming home. You know, and so that's a huge part of it is like we want the unity more than we want to be right or have the upper hand or have ammunition for when we feel like we're wronged or something like that. And that kind of brings us into that next thing of not real, not real. In that same year, that's I think the same year that we had those struggles 3 or 4 years ago, that we came up with that real, not real thing is because like I was struggling with my mental health, and I would hear something that she would say, and I would say, this feels, right? And this is my emotions. My emotions are running me at this point. This feels like this is what you're saying / doing, thinking, wanting, whatever. And we made that pact to say real, not real is like, because we both had the same thing with that. This is what it sounds like you're saying to me, and this is what I'm feeling from what you're saying to me. Is this real or is this not real?
What I'm hearing is that what you're trying to say?
Right.
Because it may be different. And rather than just take an arrow to the heart that he never shot,
Right.
It's better to pause and be in that vulnerable place of, wait a minute, are you saying what I hear, or are you trying to say something that I haven't been able to hear? And there's so many reasons, like you said, there's so many reasons we may not hear something. And something could have happened earlier in the day, like even away from each other, something could happen. Things could pile up in life, and just something said can mean or feel a way that is not meant. And again, that unity is so much more important than confusion, desperation, avoidance, you know, power and control, shifting blame and focus. Those are all things that we don't want to consume us. So being willing to say that, is this real? Is it not real? And then the other person being willing to honor that also. That would definitely be a place that if it's a very toxic relationship, that could become very dangerous.
Absolutely.
So it would be something you'd need to honor also. And everything that we suggest, honor it. I think that's the most important thing of all, is we're not giving you ammunition to hurt anyone.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking back to the core of all of these things, to be able to honor this with my spouse, with my wife, I have to have done the work on myself. I need to be healthy,
right,
so that I can reject that natural sinful desire to be right, to be the one that came out on top, to have the comeback or the ammunition or whatever it is. Like I've done the work to say, you know what, you can be wrong and it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't mean that you're worthless or whatever these, you know, the enemy is trying to tell you is I've done the work on myself. She's done the work on herself, and it's still scary.
Yeah, it's not a completion.
No,
thing. We haven't completed that. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That willingness to work on ourselves.
But without that, I don't think any of these things that we do would hold weight, because we found that out, like we said in the last video, about in our addiction, we had this code phrase, but it was used as a weapon.
Right.
Because we weren't healthy ourselves, and I can't make her healthy and she can't make me healthy.
Right.
We have to do the work ourselves. And so if you struggle with that, keeping it sacred, there might be something in you that says, I need to get more healthy myself so that I can hold this sacred regardless of how I feel, regardless of what happens.
Right.
And it's hard. It's really hard. And I just think
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Absolutely. Like to not come home and fight with my wife about something is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, not be, so it's like, okay, well, that didn't get done. Well, I didn't get what I was supposed to do done. It's not that it's not important, but it's not more important than our unity, than our love for each other, than our growth,
right,
than our children witnessing that I'm crazy about her,
right,
you know, and vice versa. And Like, it's not worth that. Whatever the thing is in the world that's happening, whether it's dishes or laundry, obviously there's going to be times where it's like, hey, can you do that? Oh, you didn't do that. Well, I can either get mad about it, or I can say, okay, let me help you, or can I help you?
Let's do it together.
Let's do it together. And we do that. Cleaning the house, man, we clean the house fast because we do it together and we just work
Listen to
well.
music
Yeah,
and,
work well together.
We make it a positive thing
Yeah.
because we're a team. It's not us and them kind of thing. It's us all together.
Neither of us are the enemy. The enemy is trying to keep us from that unity.
Right. I'm not your enemy and you're not my enemy. And that's part of that real, not real thing.
Yeah.
You're never my enemy. I'm never your enemy.
Yeah. So the third question that we got on the last video was, how do you guard each other's hearts above all else? And I will tell you, of those three questions and the things that we do, that's probably the hardest for me, because I am a sinful human.
Right.
And I'm while I'm growing in Christ, while I'm growing in my faith, and learning to be a better person and more gentle, and all of the fruits of the Spirit that we get from following Christ and having the Holy Spirit in us. That's the one thing that I feel like I struggle with most, because sometimes I don't see it.
Same.
I don't see that I'm hurting her heart with something.
Or that something is hurting me even sometimes.
Well, and I have character defects still. I have, true. But
to protect my heart, you can protect my heart in other ways too. Like,
oh yeah,
there are other things, other people, other instances that could be affecting me that you need to take the time to notice, to hold my heart and help me, so that I don't pull away from you or shut down or anything like that, and vice versa too. Noticing, taking the time to actually like look at you and listen to you and just take notice, like, and then do something with it.
Well, and ask questions too, like, did that hurt your heart? Did you and being honest about the answer too, is so you'd be like, no, I'm fine.
Sometimes it starts out that way.
Yeah.
We say that, like, everything's fine. But then we come around to actually it's not. And but for me, you noticing helps me become willing to be brave.
Yeah.
When you actually notice me. And it's not like I'm, lost in the world and you suddenly notice me, but in those times where I am hurting or something is causing me harm in a way, spiritually, emotionally,
steps back for protection,
shuts down in some way, it would be super easy for you to just keep doing your thing, because it's not like I get mad and I freak out and all that stuff. I just shut down and
squeeze in.
And you could totally just keep living life, and vice versa.
It makes me think of that time in the Perkins parking lot after we left McDonald's or Walmart. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is going on? Boys, go inside. Because we got out and I just could tell something was off. It was around Christmas time shopping. Mm-hmm. And I have people anxiety. I don't like tons of people in the store. But I missed in the conversation beforehand that we're going to go shopping and we're going to spend some time in the store and we're going to do these things. And I
take our time.
And that was what she said, but I didn't hear that earlier in the conversation before we even got there. And I was like, all right, there's tons of people. We're getting the Christmas tree. We're getting all the ornaments. We're out, and they're off looking at ugly sweaters. And I'm just like, let's go. Come on, let's go. Right. And
that hurt me.
It hurt her.
But I didn't say anything.
Right. And then, so I was like, let's go eat. Like, that's what we were doing. We're getting stuff. We're going to eat. And I could tell something was off. I noticed her, like she was saying, I saw her in her shutting down and closing in on herself. And I said something in the car before we got out, and her response was proof that I was right, and like that I was noticing truth. Mm-hmm. And we got out and the boys were with us, and I said, boys, go get us a seat. I need to talk to your mom. And she's like, just walking. I was like, get over here. What is going on? Like, let's stop this.
Right.
Do you want to be this way? Do you want to feel this way? I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel like there's something that I did that I don't know what it. Like, we need to figure this out immediately.
And I threw a little fit because I don't like addressing things. Like, first of all, I don't want to be hurt.
Right.
Like, I don't want you know, people to actually have that power, quote, quote, power, aka relationship, to hurt me. So I act tough. And yet that desire to be closer to him than anything was greater than my desire to be tough. And the fact that he noticed and then pressed into that rather than just noticing, and then he could have easily thrown attitude at me, right? He could have shut down himself. He could have, there's so many things that you could have done differently in a negative way that would have just caused more tension. And instead you chose to be the one to close the gap and pull me back.
Right.
And I've done the same to you in ways, but for that specific event, I was like, no, I don't want to say anything. But then you were like, we're done. You know, do you want to be like this? And I was like, no, I don't want to be like this. You know, like, and I didn't. I mean, that was not what I wanted. So we decided to just stop and explain and then let it be.
Yeah.
Like, it's a true, real thing.
Like, I didn't listen to you earlier in the conversation. She could have held on to that. And I think that's something too I wanted to point out at this whole thing is like being, when you say like, do you want to be like this? Like, is this what we want?
Right.
And if the answer is no, then we don't say, well, get your act together.
Right.
It's not the other, like we come to get, that's that unity again. We come together and say, I don't want to be like this, and this is what I've felt, and this is what I'm hearing, you know, and this is that being brave and real, not real. And she explained, well, this is why I'm hurt right now. And I said, like, I missed that part. I failed in listening to you in that part of the conversation, and I'm sorry for that. And I
will do better.
I will do better. I don't want us to be like this. It's not my intention, obviously, and we've had trouble with intention. Well, I didn't mean to. Well, it doesn't wipe the slate clean because it happened.
Right, and it could happen again.
And it could happen again. And being willing to open up and allow that to happen to either one of us from the other side, that's dangerous ground, but it's worth it.
And in you being willing to do that, I became willing to tell you what you said and did and how it hurt me and affected me, and also in the exact same time caused me to desire to be closer to you even more, because you saw me, you heard me, you wanted to help and restore the distance also. You were braver than me to begin with because you addressed it. And you know, in the past I can be like shut down and just no, and I don't want to deal with it. So you took a risk also,
for sure, stepping
into that. And our desire to be together was greater than being right or being distant or anything, and we honored that. And then we just hugged and kissed and walked inside, and just the day was better, like completely. It was done. It was over. There was no resentment, there was no fear, there was no it's ruining the whole day. It was just, we heard each other, we understood each other, and we moved on in a healthy, good way, which was exactly what we've learned to do.
I think there was something in that conversation too, where, you know, when we both admit that, oh, I could have done better, right? That there was a point, and I don't remember exactly what you said, but you did say something like, maybe I should have taken that into consideration, your anxiety, rather than just muscle through your anxiety, stop being a wimp or whatever, you know, like it was not that. It was like, oh, we both went into this thing thinking we understood what we were doing and that it was okay, but we also you had what you wanted to do, and I had my anxiety of all the people, and like, oh, we could have both done better on that.
Right.
But it was not like you failed me, you screwed up. It was, how do I be better for you? And
an example, so just specifically an example came to my mind, something that we could have done to ease your anxiety would have been to divide and conquer. Right. That would shorten the amount of time we were there. But, you know, for instance, you and Micah could have gone and got the grocery part. And then Jude and I could have gone and got the ugly sweaters part. And just dividing and conquering would allow each other to still get what we wanted, but respect each other's needs at the same time. And being able to discuss what we could do better is a huge part of that. Not just you were wrong or I was wrong, but how could we make changes in the future so that we don't miscommunicate and miss something.
Well, and we both made that commitment too, that we want to be the best version of ourselves for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love this girl so much that I want her to have the best guy on the planet. I'm working on that.
Likewise,
You know?
to be the best woman, the best mom, the best wife, the best friend, everything. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's progress, not perfection. That kind of smooths out any sharp edges on any of those things that we say, like, man, I'm failing hard. Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Progress, not perfection,
Yeah.
is a unity bonding.
Mm-hmm.
It's a emulsifier, as they call it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 3 questions we got asked. We invite you to ask more. Send it in a private message, comment below the video, whatever.
Thank you also for
Yeah.
responding and asking questions. We do have a lot of experiences, strengths, and hopes and challenges that we are absolutely willing to share.
Yeah.
Definitely. So thank you so much. We hope you have a good night.
Bye.
See ya.